here.
Hi, Dave. Hey, oh, hi, Dave. Shit, my keyboard's way far
When
away.
you said that, it reminds me of the room. I think it was,
Yeah.
or Disaster Artist. Oh, hi, Mark.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Oh, hi, Dave.
I
I did not hit her. I did not hit her. It's bullshit. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
I have never seen either of those movies, but all the clip ones, they're all.
You have to see the room.
Look at this
Hey,
Hey,
look at this fucking guy.
Look at you. What's up, Daddy?
What's up, guys?
Daddy.
You've only got a mustache.
Audio.
Mustache, and I'm growing a fucking mohawk
Oh,
mullet.
you
That's
said that.
Chocolate.
I'm trying to be as offensive as humanly possible.
You're gonna have to try harder than that.
Yeah, you look pretty normal. I'm in Seattle, so
Oh, well.
you just look like a regular guy to me.
But he's Canadian though, so he looks like a lost Canadian. Like he should be here hanging out with us.
Yeah, you see, I get enough from coming down from BC that they're all trying to go to X.
Yeah, but those are the Canadians, and they're trying to hit up all your goddamn outlet mall.
I was thinking about this, about the difference between Americans and Canadians, and what it was like being Canadian growing up. And really, honestly, Central Canada is like the state of Minnesota, really, honestly. Vancouver's like Seattle, exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Except for like people in Quebec, but they're completely different.
They're French. They don't count.
Yeah. I mean, we're not much different. And I mean, we've always known you guys had a bigger army. We don't think we do anything better or worse, or our people.
Except your military can grow beards.
And you guys kind of lead the world in war crimes, but we'll that's something.
As possible. But I don't think there's an enormous difference in the people that I've met in the States and from Canada, although we have a lot more liberal people, more like you guys have in Cascadia, like all through the Cascade regions. But
Hey, that's where we're at.
Hey, that's.
I know there's a lot of liberals.
There are. Oh, 2:15.
But we also
We made it past 30 seconds. We're good.
Right.
I didn't say it yet.
God damn it.
No, wait, better timestamp that.
I am.
Hashtag Pride Month, guys. I can say all I want.
Well,
I really hate that my birthday, my people's month, and Pride Month is all in the same month. Because no one gives a shit about.
Nobody
Asia
cares.
Pacific.
No,
Like,
nobody
oh, it's
cares.
API month. So, is your flag rainbow colored? And do you like to tell children about your sexuality? No, then you don't count.
My first Father's Day was also on my birthday, so guess what I didn't get that year?
Blowjob or a steak?
Yeah.
A birthday.
Oh.
Like, pick one.
I'm like, where's my cake, man?
well,
Fair.
I just saw a fucking LGBTQ plus whatever flag at an elementary school just around the corner from here, which was really kind of disturbing.
So that's cool.
There's Canadian flag, and then right under it was that fucking horrific looking thing with the little triangle
Wow.
outside.
I'm pretty sure we'd have some interesting conversations if somebody did that here.
They do it.
Yeah.
They do.
I've never.
Just
Where?
closer to the city
Oh.
areas. Yeah, it's
Well,
right
they're
over
not doing
there.
it. They're not doing it here.
Oh, no.
They're doing it here.
Well, I was
I'd like
gonna
to
say,
see that at Riddle Elementary.
oh yeah,
Yeah, our kids
So-
are Ritalin elementary.
they get angry if someone who's not off white shows up.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
Dave, you
so
show up
how-
anywhere in Riddle.
When I moved here, they're like, "What's up with what's wrong with this guy?"
He's a little dark there,
He's a little
tan
dark
boy.
there.
How old are you guys? All like ish. I just turned 50 this year, so
I got 5 more years and a week.
I just turned 37 a few days ago.
36.
okay. Well, like at 50, I've noticed an enormous difference in like I don't know what you'd call them, like we would call them hermaphrodites when we were fucking like effeminate males, like
Right.
sexless people. Like you go to coffee shops and shit, and it's like, and I'm wondering how much of that is trendy, because in the 80s it was like fucking, like mesh shirts and fucking mohawks and razor blades in your ears, and my grandfather used to look at me like, the
I hear a
fuck?
train. Is that a
Right,
train?
I live right by a highway, but I'm wondering how much of it is trendy, like, like it's trendy to be
Right.
intersex. how much of it is toxins that are kind of like and estrogen mimickers that are causing problems like PCP, and like how much of it is a societal kind of a mental like a virus kind of.
I'm pretty sure it's mostly the red dye and M&Ms. Like it's just that.
You think it is? Because it's obviously like testosterone levels are dropping. Like
Yeah.
like it just society is really shifting, and it's.
That's because you supplement yourself.
Right.
It's a mental, it's a medical disorder.
No, it's called jerking off.
It's a combination of all of it. You think?
Yeah.
Like,
I think societal too, because so like early 2000s, right? The whole emo thing, right?
Right.
Hold on, let me flip the hair a little bit. I knew so many dudes, quote unquote bisexual guys.
Yeah.
And it was like that was the trend. If like you were an emo kid, like I went to plenty of shows. I played in a band. Like I had the guy liner on. I did the whole emo thing.
Yeah,
but then
were you fiddling other dudes' drumsticks? Yeah, that's the question.
There's a lot of them that were like, "Oh yeah, I'm into guys too," and I'm like, I don't know how. Like my taste
that
in
wasn't
music.
a thing when I grew up.
My taste in music doesn't make me want to meat slap my face.
No, you just had Boy George on.
Yeah.
Going around.
No, I mean, yeah. Okay, there was like Boy
flock
George
of seagulls,
but like outside of those fucking guys, maybe I didn't hang out with those people, but certainly like if you said something like that, you were gonna get the shit kicked out of you, like literally. I mean, we used to go back.
Bowie.
I mean, I didn't personally, but we would go to like Beacon Hill Park where all that made out, and we would just
6:30
because that was what we do. I mean, it was. I don't know. Like it was different. You didn't. I don't know. Maybe it's.
Well, I was also talking to someone. I've said this a bunch of times. I miss the '90s because in the '90s a lot of more acceptance happened, which was right. I didn't have any bills. But like as far as acceptance was going on, but people also they just wanted to live their lives, be like, this is what I'm into.
Yeah, you didn't have to go around shouting that, hey, I do CrossFit and I suck dick. Like, nobody cares.
Those two things are not mutually exclusive.
No, they're not.
So I had something kind of interesting happen. My daughter has a friend who, and my daughter's 8, by the way. She has a friend who apparently said at one point to her mom that she doesn't always feel like a girl, and her mom took that and ran with it and decided that this girl is now a boy. So this kid at 8 years old is like transitioning into like a trans male. Then they moved to Mexico for a year, and the time that they were in Mexico, Lena, who became Ian, became Lena again.
And all of a sudden she likes spicy food.
And then they moved back to Seattle, and now they want to be. I'm like, so who actually wants this? Like,
who's on first?
Do you just want to be the parent of a gay baby? Is that what you want?
That's what it sounds like.
And that's what
it sounds too like the people around the Seattle area and the school influences and all the societal pressure on the girl. If she like playing tomboyish things a little bit, we're pushing her in that direction because that's what society's saying. Well, you want to like hang out with the boys. Well, you must be a boy then. Like there's so much pressure.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Like my daughter likes watching race cars, and she likes wrestling, and she likes fighting, and she likes playing sports and doing all that sort of shit. Doesn't mean that she's suddenly a boy. Like the WNBA exists for a reason. Like
right, yeah,
to get supplemented.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I went to WNBA game.
Definitely societal. A lot of societal, I would think.
Yeah.
I would think it's a lot of the culture, what people are pushing, and because I mean, I grew up. There were tomboys. There were like effeminate guys, sort of like not to the extent they are now, but like I mean, people like I like to decorate. I never thought I was a fucking chick because I'm an artist and I like to decorate. I was also a bouncer and I like to fucking smash people. So I mean, just because we have male and female traits doesn't make us. I don't know. Yeah.
Like if you
need a drink real quick.
It's crazy.
Idea.
It sounds like you live in a wind tunnel.
No,
but like.
Oh, I'm sorry. I live next to sort of a highway-ish. So if it's getting annoying,
what I was gonna say is, if you go to the settings on here, it's got different levels of background noise canceling. See if you can fuck with that, and maybe that'll, because that's kind of what the pre-show is for. We just kind of
bullshit
get it all
and
figured
figure out what's
out.
going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Audio and video settings.
Yep.
So is there a pre-show free episode? I looked earlier and there wasn't one.
It should be on there now. It should be up. Yeah.
I was editing photos. I've been editing photos for like the last 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I uploaded last week's episode, I had to go somewhere, and then I get back, or I tried to watch it on my phone, and I was like, "Where is it?" And so then I came home, and I'm like, "Oh, they're gonna be fucking cunts about it. Cool." I don't know who Dave's talking to, but all right. Anyway, and then so I see, they're fucking bitching about Doja Cat and all that shit.
Yeah.
So I just threw a background over it.
I saw that. I was
I'm not going to put any effort into this. This is stupid. I'm not going to cut our sound out, our audio. So I just left that in there. And then that worked. It just says restricted in some countries. And I was like, I don't care. And then,
that's fine.
And then I just did the same thing with the non-pre-show version. So whatever.
Yeah, I see that. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm getting that up right now.
I keep wanting to call you Destructagon. Like I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, it's Aragon. My dad was a fucking Lord of the Rings fan, so.
You don't say.
Your dad sounds cool as shit.
His dad is cool. We play Call of Duty.
We play Call of Duty all the time.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm gonna get on. Like the other night, I forgot that I said I was gonna get on.
I know, and I messaged you, and then I was like, I guess he just didn't want to play.
Dude, when you messaged me at 10, I was asleep. I was stoned to sleep.
That'll happen. See, this is what also happens when one person drinks. Dave's like, "Well, I need a drink."
Oh, I also need a drink.
I can't not have a drink.
Had to get the old Dave water out.
Right?
The old Dave water.
Dad has a someone gave him a bottle of Woodford Reserve, and I looked at it and I was like, I can't open his birthday bottle.
Oh, his birthday one.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd be mad.
No.
See what happened. I mean, why does all of our booze taste like water?
David,
you're an adult.
Right? Stop backfilling it with water. Just go buy another one.
I was having a conversation the other day because I was talking about how mom will cook meals for me when they go away on trips.
Yeah.
Like if they're leaving Friday afternoon, I'll wake up Friday morning and she's in the kitchen cooking up a storm. And I'm like, "Oh, you're going to take some food with you?" And she's just like, "No, this is for you while we're gone." And my dad's just like, "Yeah, because she didn't want you to have to cook for 2 days." And then I look at her like, "Mom, I'm an adult." And then the minute I say that, I feel like a child.
Right.
Like,
yeah, if you have, methinks thou doth protest too much. If you have to say you're an adult, you're not.
Right.
It's like when people have to tell you they're funny. No, I'm really funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you? Because I'm not sure.
You mean girls on their Tinder profile?
Right.
I'm not like most
They're like,
girls.
I'm not like most girls. I have a great personality. So you're fat.
Right.
Cool.
So you have 3 kids.
Yeah. How many times you been divorced? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get married.
The thing about getting older is the fucking gene pool that's available. It's not.
The dating pool gets.
You're gonna have to put up with a lot of kids or fucking crazy.
You see, Aragon, you're a handsome man with a mustache. Like you can, and you're Canadian. Like if you just cross the border and drop a few of boots, like you're gonna get some pussy.
I've got a really nice Hong Kong girlfriend now. What happens is when a relationship comes near an end, I fucking start working out for shit. Of course, I get rid of this because obviously I'm not gonna fucking get the perfect fucking haircut, hit the gym, hit the fucking tanning beds, do my fucking online dating for 6 months, find a broad, and then. Oh, good. I'm in a relationship.
See, it's funny because like now that I'm married, I decided to go the other way and just actually get into shape and just see what happens. And it's really funny to just be like,
well, sometimes that's what you got to do. I always laugh at those videos where people will be like, they didn't want this, and then it shows them like a year later and they're like skinny and fit and stuff like that. It's like, why didn't you just do that in the relationship to where the person didn't find you disgusting anymore?
It seems like a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
That's why I just get her fat too.
Codependent fatness.
That's where the cooking skills come in.
Codependent fatness is the name of the pre-show. Oh.
Did I show you the hoodie that Beernet got me?
No.
He got me 2 of these things. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing with 2.
I don't even know who Beer Nut is.
Beer Nut was Work Alex.
Oh, okay.
But now neither one of us work there, so.
Oh, he doesn't work there either?
No, he quit before I did.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, he got me the.
Oh, I've seen that shirt on you.
Yeah. I was like, okay. He's like, hey, I got one of these. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, send it. Why not? And he's like, I got 2 of them. I'm going to send it. I'm like, okay, yeah, why not? And now I have 2 of the motherfuckers. Boing, 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 boing.
So did you guys all grow up together or something? Do you guys know each other from? No.
No. So Dave and I have known each other the longest. Dave grew up 6 miles from my house, but we're a little different age. But we had mutual friends, hung out together.
One of his best friends was the older brother of my best friend.
Yeah.
And then we all got older and stopped talking to those guys.
Yeah. Just cut out the middlemen. Yeah. And then Jake met me at a Ducks football game that I got kicked out of. I think what did I get kicked out for?
Being drunk, probably.
I think that was it. Yeah, I was too drunk.
What the fuck are the Ducks football? What is that?
Oregon Ducks?
University of
Oregon. College football.
The university.
Football? Yeah.
We don't have an NFL team in Oregon, so college football is way bigger. Yep. Or people pick stupid teams like the Denver Broncos, like they want to be the fans of them.
Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, you guys go nuts for fucking college basketball too, eh? There's like the final road to go. Whatever.
March Madness is a big thing. Yeah. I mean, like I'm wearing a college basketball jersey, but
yep.
I'm wearing.
You know what this means?
Jersey. No.
Not welcome. You know what this means? I like cartoons.
I like cartoons. You know what this means? I don't like Germans.
Oh shit.
I would say in Canada it's like soccer and hockey, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's the bigger cities like seem to be getting into soccer lately, but it's mostly hockey growing up.
So are you in Montreal or are you outside Montreal?
No, I'm in Vancouver.
Oh, I thought you said he was in Montreal.
No, we were talking about how fucked up Montreal is, but no, I'm in
He's
Vancouver.
a Canucks.
I'm same time zone. I'm Cascadia. I'm gotcha. All stock skippy fucking. Yeah.
Well, we got and also then.
Alberta is a little bit like Texas too. If we're gonna go into like Canada and like the geography of Canada, like Alberta is pretty much all oil riggers and like people that work in the oil industry.
Isn't that the one that has like that huge rodeo?
Yep, Calgary Stampede.
Yeah.
They're 2 major cities, Edmonton and Calgary, and
that's where
they're pretty
much
much
where the Hearts came from.
Yeah, I was gonna say like my Canadian knowledge is either wrestling, hockey, or like lumberjack sports and where
the Olympics.
Things are in there. Yeah, like I don't know much
Ben
more than
Johnson.
That.
Maple syrup, Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
French girls.
Natty blue light.
I mean, we don't
Labatt's.
Really, and we're not really that polite. We don't really, and we're not really that. I don't know what people say with Canadians, but we don't talk. Like we don't say. I say a little bit, but we don't say a boot unless you back.
You do. You've heard it said like 4
we
times.
Definitely like when you first got on
here. We
100% heard you. Yeah.
You definitely dropped at least one. I almost said something about it, and I decided not to.
Yeah. When you say about, I hear it. But like most like the rest of the other words, like not really.
Yeah.
Well, because we're so close to Seattle. I mean, the language is pretty much almost the same.
Right.
Imagine back east, everybody's like, "How's it going, eh? Like, what's up, eh?"
There's back east.
Sticking to the back of the throat and a bit of it. But I was saying the other day to Robin, like people in Boston sound fucking. So
yeah,
it all makes sense.
Ontario.
Well, I've got some friends from Minnesota, and I used to always joke with them too. I'd be like, "You sound like Canadian. Knock it off."
Then there's like, as far as I understand, like Toronto wants to be the Paris of Canada. They're like, there's Canadians and then there's Toronto.
Yeah.
No, Toronto's okay. So Ottawa's our capital, but Toronto's our major city. So Toronto, I think, is the 3rd biggest city in North America. It's like New York, LA, and then Toronto, I think, is bigger than any of your other big cities. But it's just a big fucking shithole of immigrants of different cultures and different. Not that immigrants being shithole. I'm just saying it's like it's very broad, spread out. There's no one culture. It's just a bunch of cultures. And,
melting pot.
It's not. There's nothing like Montreal is definitely like Europe. Like Montreal, Quebec are very Europe, but Toronto's just Toronto. And I'd say Ottawa's more like British, like the colonies, and like you feel a lot of like in Parliament. There's a lot of like that British heritage in the way. It's very like old ass buildings. Because Toronto's, maybe but like Toronto's all major new buildings and shit, whereas like Ottawa's got like the old British. When we were at war with you guys, we burned the White House down. That kind of architecture back in those days. We gave you back for Detroit because of your name.
Does Toronto's the one with that spire, right? They have like this big spire.
They're big,
yeah, they saw the Space Needle and they're like, we want one of those.
It's possible Toronto's built before it, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it's just a big city. And Vancouver is literally like, Vancouver's beautiful in that there's mountains all around it, but downtown's a total fucking shithole. Like, there's homeless people there. Have you ever heard of East Hastings?
Seattle. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of major cities like that where they're really cool. There's a lot to do. It's pretty nice looking, and then you get to the shithole parts of it, and you're like, oh, this is where you don't walk because you might get shot.
Well, I think East Vancouver has got more people with AIDS in a 3-block region than anywhere else in North America. And it's
the Canadian San Francisco.
It's been open needle use for 20 years. Like no one gets arrested for shooting up in the streets. It's like fucking crazy scary.
Sounds like Portland.
It's like San Francisco now, but like 20 years ago, it was like San Francisco.
Space Needle was built in 1961, and CN Tower was built in 1973. Boom, America.
Oh!
USA. I'm gonna bust out my little.
As a Canadian as well, how do you feel about when people talk about Americans? Because you're American, you're technically American as well.
I've got a fucking MAGA hat and I've got like 15 Black Rifle coffee shirts. My dad was in the airborne. I grew up I'm as male as alpha as it gets, so I'm not. Right. I'm not like most of my. I'm always, every job I have, I'm careful about what I say, and I'm careful about not upsetting HR, and I've always been a little bit out there to the right, I would imagine. I voted for Trudeau the first time because I thought he was fucking hilarious. Because he gave the speech where he's like, I feel Canada in my bones. And I was like, that guy's fucking hilarious, man.
So most people voted for Trump.
I was going to say Trump had the same thing.
Yeah.
But Trump didn't fucking sell your country out to China. Like at least, Trump, I think it was Russia. I think the problem with Trump, listen, I think that Trump got rid of red tape. He was trying his best, but he didn't know who to pick, and he shouldn't talk off of cards. That's just
you can't stop that guy though.
They screwed him. Like during COVID, he just started winging it, and it's like, dude, you can't fucking wing it.
You get the best doctors.
You're gonna bury
people. Well, at least he could wing it and make a sentence, whereas our president now can't read a sentence.
You guys are in trouble because he's in the pockets of everybody, like China
and we got him for guys. It's gonna be Biden for another 4 years because the GOP is not gonna be able to put anybody up.
No, because they're too busy fighting.
Well, and
they can't.
And Trump are gonna destroy each other, and then Trump's gonna get arrested, and it's just gonna be
again.
Trump either Trump should step aside or DeSantis should just go with Trump. One of the two of them should be the bigger man.
DeSantis should come out in a dress and be like, "Here's the deal, man."
But they shouldn't be going head to head. If you look at Gavin Newsom, he's not saying anything bad about Biden, and I saw this on Tucker Carlson last night. But he was really eloquent, and he's supporting Biden because he knows they're going to fucking throw Biden aside and put him in charge if they're going to do it. So there's no point trying to say anything about what Biden's doing. They're more cohesive, whereas you've got Republicans are just, I don't know. DeSantis, I don't know why he did that, because there's no way he could unless he thought Trump was going to go to jail and he was going to have a walk after that. Mm-hmm. Maybe he thinks that Trump will be able to run, but there's no way he's going to throw his hat in and beat Trump just because of Trump's base. So why did he even I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
All I'm saying is I've seen a few videos of RFK in the weight room.
I like him.
Oh, what a president that pumps iron. All right.
I honestly, I like him. I like Tulsi Gabbard.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm a huge Tulsi Gabbard fan.
And I like that. Who's the Asian guy that was going to the Democrats? Right?
Andrew Yang.
I thought he was decent. I mean, I like Bernie Sanders, not as a dude, but I liked him as a person. Like,
yeah.
But like, I like Yang and I love Tulsi Gabbard, and I also like JFK or RFK.
I'm just
JFK's
saying.
Dead.
Yeah, he's not pumping any iron.
Pushing daisies. That's it.
But you wanted someone who's not in the system, and then Trump's not in the system.
See, but that's why Bernie Sanders got fucking booted from the whole thing because they're like, no. This he thinks too much for himself. We're gonna first they did it with Hillary. That's why they lost there because they're like, nope, we're putting Hillary through and gave him all the super. Oh,
they wouldn't even talk about
votes or whatever.
They would give her fucking put her on the same page.
Mm-hmm. The whole thing is
so rigged.
Yeah,
but the RNC is rigged. Like the Republicans are like they're just like, yeah, Trump,
Illuminati,
yeah, DeSantis, yeah,
right.
They're so fucking unorganized, and there's because you got the rhinos and you got like libertarian people that are kind of coming over. Like you guys don't really have a libertarian party that you've kind of
can do anything. No.
Well, you've kind of converged. Your libertarians are also there with your like business Republican types. They're all in the same kind of plane.
Business Republicans don't exist anymore. They're all either baby Republicans or oil Republicans.
Yeah.
Basically, we're just kind of fucked.
Well, we have a two-party system here. Well, we have a three-party system here. Basically, we have the NDP, which is the New Democrats, but they're literally in bed with the liberals. They're left. And then you have the conservatives.
Literally.
And the only time the conservatives ever come to power is when there were two conservative parties that like merged and then they were like overpowered the other two liberal parties. But these guys vote together and now they're beating back this guy. And then all of a sudden this splinter cell came off the side, which
that was a good game.
I was gonna say I remember that game.
So they're a little bit split now. So I mean, sometimes it's better to just have a two-party system because you get like this. You get these splinterings, and then a party can't win. And
so one of the things that they do in Washington, and then we got to get to it. They have just a straight up top two primary, which means that the top two candidates run regardless of party. And so if two Republicans are the favorite, then two Republicans run. If it's a Democrat and a use Gondabondablombov, then those two run.
Pretty sure Oregon just started the whole ranked voting now too.
We started that here as well. Yeah.
I'm not sure how it's gonna go.
Yeah, you guys already have enough problems with voting. All right, man.
Yeah.
These people.
Are you ready for a good ass show?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we're stealing Shoresy lines. Well, we have a Canadian here.
Oh.
Is that the Jersey Shore that you guys are talking about?
No, shore.
Hold up.
What?
Letterkenny?
You never watched Letterkenny?
No, I've never seen it. No.
Well, we're more Canadian.
That's a Canadian show, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're all more Canadian
he's
than
doing
you.
No Canadians have ever heard of this show. No, that one. We've also never heard.
We don't listen to Rush that much in Canada.
Who's Rush?
Oh yeah, but
no Canadian has ever watched Trailer Park Boys.
Canadian 1970s Blink 182. Cool.
No, listen. Trailer Park Boys. So the three of them came to my bar when I was in Victoria, when I was managing a nightclub over there. And at the end of the night, the guy who drinks rum was actually drinking rum in a short glass. Yeah. And I told him, I'm like, just take it with you. And he's like, out the bar? I'm like, yeah, just take it. Fuck, we wouldn't be the same if you don't have it in your hand. Because I'd seen a couple episodes of it. And he was just like looking back at me, walking down the street with his rum and coke in his hand.
That's fucking awesome.
All right, Jake, sorry. Back to the introduction.
Yeah, so if you guys don't notice, it's a little bit different today. We've got a little bit different format of a show. It's the triumphant return of interviews with interesting dudes. And before we
don't interview chicks.
That's not true.
No, we do. We just call them dudes.
We just call them dudes. You weren't part of the show at that point. But we are joined by the talented... I don't know his last name. What's the last name here?
It's right there. It's on the screen.
Pawson. Aragon Pawson. Let me say it right for a change.
How
about you say it right for a change?
Aragon Pawson. Yeah, my dad dropped the R because he thought I'd get beat up too much being called Aragorn, but I got into fights anyways with Aragon.
You got beat up differently because they thought your dad couldn't spell.
Awesome.
Like, my dad can beat up your dad. Yeah, but he can't spell, so fuck you. So yeah, we're going to be talking to him later. Graphic artist, did a lot of work available. You can see it most recently in Extraction 2, available on Netflix if you want to see one of the most viral moments on YouTube of the pitchfork. This man can tell you all about it and just how big of a pain in the neck that was. But we are joined also, you may have heard them already as we talk and as we flow through this show with reckless abandon. It's Dave.
You're goddamn right it is.
Hey.
I took it because I forgot what I was going to say earlier today. I wrote it down. It's in my phone, and I don't know where my phone's at. But anyways, if you're watching this, I don't know where he's at, but he's in one of the corners. It's Robin.
Bend over and I'll show you.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on? Anyway, there's a train, I think. Anyway, yeah, bring it back around. Hoop snake, known as Jake.
It's
maybe?
me. Yeah, me, one take Jake back in the saddle again. And yeah, as we mentioned, it's the triumphant return of interviews with interesting dudes. So I'm going to kind of cede a little bit here to Robin, seeing as how he knows the fine gentleman. Kind of give us a little bit of a recap of how the two of you met, how you know one another, and kind of why we have Aragon here today.
So let's
also,
let's just...
if you're just listening, you should really do yourself a favor and watch this episode.
Look at this handsome man.
Speaking of fine gentlemen,
look at this handsome man.
I'm slightly chubbed. I'm not gonna lie, slightly chubbed. Hashtag Pride Month.
So we get. You guys have heard of this thing called Call of Duty? I play that a bunch. One day, this guy jumps in there. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy named Destructagon? He seems pretty cool.
That guy's cool.
Yeah, and then that's how we met.
That's
we just played Call of Duty. That's it. Pretty simple.
Politics when we're playing Call of Duty.
We play most days. Yeah. I told him we have a podcast, and he's like, "Can I be on it?" I'm like, "Well, now that I know what you do and you can speak in full sentences, sure, let's do this." Yeah. And here we are.
That's always the funny part about having a small time podcast, but also like kind of taking it seriously. Yeah. Is like you get people, "Oh man, hey, can I be on your podcast?" I'm like, "No, you're not really what I want to do." Like, what do you mean? I'm like, because like, what are you gonna say? Like, what do you have to say? And then
we've had the discussion before. Like, multiple people like, "Hey, when can I be in your podcast?" Most of the time, it's like, no offense to anybody that just does construction, but they like just do construction. They just want to be on a podcast to be on a podcast.
Right.
This guy over here actually does something interesting and has interesting things to say. So, Aragon, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do for your work? And sure. And where you're from, that sort of thing, and
I'm from Vancouver. I work in the film industry. I do visual effects. I'm a compositor, so I do like I get the green screen footage that you guys see, or all the special effects artists getting guys in green suits and the actor on a screen. And I take that original footage they shoot, and I take all the elements that the 3D department has rendered, like the transformers or whatever, and all the special effects, and I put them all together and all the roto, and I layer it and then grain it, send the final product to the client. So yeah, I call it a compositor. It's basically the guy that oversees all the visual effects together.
Gotcha. So, how on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult is that? Like, it seems like some of that stuff is painstakingly difficult.
You need to know how to script, so you need to be like kind of a computer software programmer. You have to be an artist because you have to have an eye. It's like photoshopping, but like at speed. You've got like 3D assets, stuff you're building. You're doing it in node base, So you have to basically build a switchboard. So start with like a little node and put it up. That's the plate. And then you put a node underneath it and attach it. That's a degrade node. Then you go to the degrade node, do everything you got to do. Then you attach all these things. And it goes all down this pipeline. And you've got the pipeline to the side. So if you can imagine like building a switchboard, it's like building a switchboard, but at the same time you're doing art all the way down, and it's complicated. It's very complicated. And
it seems complicated.
Compensated for what we do. I would imagine. I'm sure AI will take my job away in 5 years. So
what are some of the things that you've worked on? We know about extraction.
I did. Yeah, I
mentioned that.
Extraction. I can't really talk about some I'm working on now, but I've worked on like Thor, Prometheus, the last Harry Potter, a lot of TV shows. I'm trying to think of some of the TV shows. I worked on that 1932, which was 23. Was it 23? Which was the recently, which was the Yellowstone.
The third.
The second. 1923 is that what it is? Yeah.
Or what it was? Yeah, 1923.
Yeah.
Last year I was one of the major artists on that Santa Claus movie. What's it called? With
Batman.
No, the Santa Claus movie where it's like Die Hard.
No, it was like
Violent Night.
Violent Night.
Yeah, Violent Night.
Yeah.
I did the Viking flashback scenes. I built those.
Oh, okay.
It was fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I worked on an abundant amount of stuff. I've been in the industry for 13, 14 years now. Before that, I was a bouncer and a nightclub manager. I worked in clubs for like 20 years. So, but yeah, that's it.
Gotcha.
There, in a nutshell.
Are there any of those things that you've worked on that that just seemed overwhelming? Like they were just
you get on shots. You get on shots. What happens sometimes is like you get a shot that's been handed down from 5 different artists. So if you can imagine you're building like a script and everything's plugged to everything, and there's like little plugins all over the place, and you don't know what any of the plugins are doing to any of the other plugins, and you're taking stuff apart trying to figure out what they were doing. And your script's like 90 gigs, and your computer's starting to chug and freeze, and you're having to get your computer restarted. So I mean, and then they're like, we need it now, and it's like, so yeah, I mean, you definitely can be
deadline crunches.
Yeah, it can be a super stressful job. But for the most part, if you know what you're doing and you're starting your script yourself, and you're good at what you do, it's not too hard.
Gotcha. One of the recent things I heard was that Into the Spider-Verse movie. I guess there were a lot of people that were working on that felt like they were just pressured and
grinded. Yeah.
Just hammered on that stuff.
The last studio, 2 studios ago, I was working at a place where it was my first gig. It was at a big studio. We were working we were at the studio like for 24 hours. They had a shower there, and they would kick us under our desks if a render was failing at night. They had people I worked 30 days without a day off, and yeah, I mean that's when you first get in. A lot of companies abuse their staff pretty badly because they're kind of like they're kind of like nerds. Like I mean, the guys that want to make movies and stuff like that, they're easily pushed around. And so corporate guys take advantage of that. Just get these kind of like anime collecting, kind of like soft, not going to push back kind of people. And you see studios taking advantage of that, and they're just like, oh, I'm working on a movie. That's so great. Ooh, I'll just be here all the time because I have no life really. So yeah,
they get so excited about doing what they're doing, they don't care about getting shit on all the time.
Yeah, and all the bosses take advantage of that for sure.
Yeah. So it's not like it's a unionized thing or anything like that, is it?
No, it's not. It's one of the very few parts of the film industry that isn't unionized. Like the writers are on strike right now. They're unionized. Actors are unionized. All the grips and all the people that film are unionized. Our industry, there's been a couple of efforts to unionize, like in London, and what ends up happening is the studio gets together, like, we're going to unionize, and they like, oh yeah, we'll talk to you, and then they fire everybody and they hire all the people. A lot of the work, like the low level work, gets done in India and China too. So because it's time consuming and it's expensive. Like even juniors cost a lot more than like in India. I think I don't think that they pay people. People pay them to work for experience. It's so ridiculous. But
wow.
So I mean, but a senior is a 6-figure job, and then like a comp soup's getting up there for sure. So it's an expensive labor's expensive for sure.
Yeah, and
so unionizing, like, I mean, if you've got if you've worked it for a long time, like I taught at the Vancouver Film School too. So I mean, at this point in my career, I'm a senior who's taught, and I won't have trouble finding a gig. But for the younger guys trying to like grind their way through it, it's a tough go for sure.
That makes sense.
But there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn that like a junior, like it's not like there's like a small handbook of stuff to learn. There's like you're always learning. I'm still learning today because new stuff rolls out all the time, and so I can see. I guess it'd be like trying to think of like a lawyer before there was like Google search or whatever search. You had to go to the library to investigate cases, and you had to like, so your knowledge, like your ability to go, oh, okay, well this case is like Roe versus blah blah blah, and I know I'm gonna go. So your knowledge base, it justified the pay for senior partners at law firms because that's a valuable commodity. I would say the same thing for what we do.
Gotcha.
So much learned knowledge. So yeah.
There's always new stuff coming.
It's funny you said that because I was in an interview a couple days ago and I was asked if I was proficient in Excel, and I said I'm as proficient in Excel as Google is.
That's fair. Yeah.
So and they said, that works. That works. So how does one transition from bar manager, bar bouncer at the Trailer Park Boys' favorite club in Detroit? How does one transition from that into senior graphic design? Is that what is? What is
compositing? Film
compositing.
Okay, so my whole story was I was like I think I was a valedictorian for years and years when I was really young. I was always the smartest kid in my grade, and then like grade 7 or 8, and then my mom booted my dad out, and I just like dropped out in grade 8. Started hanging out with like dirt bags and like so I kind of, that's the route I went, like hanging out with people that worked in clubs and stuff like that.
So you got the film industry. Makes sense.
I went for no the club thing, and then I went to art school. I went to art school for a couple of years when I was younger, just like fine art degree, and went back to clubs. And then I think it was 30 or 34. My mom's like, like, are you gonna like keep working in clubs your whole life? Like, is that your plan? And I was like, well, like I didn't have a real plan. She's like, well, why don't you go to Vancouver and go to our film school, and I'll put you through it. And so I did that. But while I was here going to school, I was like working full time at the Roxy Bouncing, which is like our big club in Vancouver, which was fun. I met all sorts of cool people, and and then just kind of like shifted into film. That's it.
Just interview and in the door?
Knew a guy in a band that knew a guy that owned a studio, got me in. You know what? I tell other people this all the time, so it's honestly like it's so much easier to get a job when someone fucking vouches for you. And when we're looking for people, any job I've ever been, if they're looking for people, the first thing they do is go to their staff and go, you guys know anybody who's good, who you can vouch for? Like, young people, you should make friends with everyone you humanly can and network as much as you can, because that's the biggest thing in the world.
That definitely seems like one of the big things in the film industry is just the more people the networking that goes on there just seems like it pays off for everybody. That's gotcha.
Mm-hmm. So you see the same names on everything.
You see same actors in the same director's films, right? You see guys that I directed a film, well, I'm comfortable with this guy, so I'll just use this guy.
Well, Christopher Nolan. I mean, like, how many movies have you seen Christopher Nolan do with the same guys? Or like Adam Sandler. He's
Scorsese.
Exactly.
Because they know they can work with them for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's her name? Who's that chick that was in the Hunger Games?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence. And
she's not like regular.
You're banging a big, greasy fat guy, and he gives you in all the films.
Oh, it's true.
Like,
I mean, if you told me blow a greasy fat guy and you're gonna have a career in film,
don't whine. Go up to his hotel room and don't whine, and you're gonna be in everything he produces. Everything he did. Silver Linings Playbook. Before he got arrested, she was the only one. Put her in all his movies.
Oh my god. Yeah, because then she just started getting back into films again, so she must have found another fat guy. Yes.
There you go. Yeah.
Which is so weird. He sometimes just wants to cuddle up and eat a whole thing of Pringles.
Well, what I would like to know is like, was Bradley Cooper banging Weinstein too? Because he was in all his films too.
You know what? I've kind of heard some things. Like recently.
You're hearing it here first. Maybe Bradley Cooper was Weinstein.
Mm-hmm. Another
maybe
thing
Weinstein liked to watch Bradley Cooper banging.
Heck, man, have you watched that movie? What is it called? It's the one basically about Harvey Weinstein and all the shisty shit that he pulled. Dude, the stories that they tell on there, I'm like, ew.
Yeah. Joe Rogan had a bit about that though. That was pretty good. I don't know if you
did he?
His latest thing.
So speaking of,
he's counting how many times you say a boot.
Boot? Oh, yeah. About Joe Rogan's bit was about if your son did some chick named Weinstina, would you really care? And why do we treat women differently than we do men? But yeah.
Because men treat women differently. That's why.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
So your dad was airborne. What kept you out of the military?
I actually joined when I was 18, and
you better make sure your answer is good.
My dad was in 2 Commando.
Canadian military, the exchange rate's different.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so my dad was in 2 Commando. 2 Commando was the same unit that was involved in the Somali Inquiry. The Somali Inquiry was back in, I want to say the late 80s, maybe turn of the 90s. They were in Somalia. There was a unit officer that said it. They were getting all of their supplies stolen from like little kids that were going under the wire and stealing all our supplies. They said if you catch a kid, make an example of them so that no other kids break in and steal all our shit. Well, a couple of idiots put a bag over this kid's head they catch, and they put a stick over and they pin him up and they beat him to death and they videotape it.
Oh.
So that got released to the Canadian public.
Leading in war crimes, as I may have mentioned.
that gets out to the Canadian public, who doesn't have a lot of appetite for that kind of stuff. And they call it the Somali Inquiry. They disbanded all 3 battalions of the airborne, and I joined it to be in the airborne, and they had disbanded it just after I signed up, before I went to basic, and I'm just fucking about. Not going.
Oh, so they didn't trick you with the old you signed, so you have to go?
Well, no, they gave me a dishonorable discharge. They sent me a letter in the mail saying, well, you didn't show up, so you get a dishonorable discharge.
Oh, really? See, here in the U.S., we go to this medical examination, MEPS, whatever, medical examination process, and you go through that, and then you say, okay, cool, you're good to go, you can sign up. If you don't show up to catch your plane, like, they can't do anything. You don't get a dishonorable. You get nothing because you're not technically in yet. Right. So that's why I was asking.
For me, I think I swore a pledge of allegiance and I picked up my ID, but I hadn't picked up my kit, and I didn't show up to pick up my kit. And
we do the pledge of allegiance every morning at school.
Yeah, we also do that. We also do active shooter drills.
we used to say the Lord's Prayer in the mornings when I was a kid. That's all. Yeah.
Have you ever heard the American Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah, I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the
shit. That's more than I know.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation
under God,
indivisible,
I can sing the
liberty
Star Spangled Banner.
Really?
Yes,
I know. Oh, Canada.
But that's bullshit, because we gave Fort Detroit back. That whole we just kind of were like,
you keep acting like Detroit was some kind of gift.
Oh my God! Have you seen Detroit lately?
Have you seen it lately?
Well, yeah, you guys learn at school.
You guys can have it back.
The Motor City became the Motor Home City.
Where'd you read
Motor
that?
Home City is the name of the episode.
Okay. So the White House is white because the Canadian or the British had marched down there and actually burned it all, and they painted it white to cover all the burn marks. We got all the way down there and actually burned in the White House. You know.
That's similar to my 1911 story when I always tell people that like them, you're welcome, because it was designed to kill Filipinos. So you're welcome.
1911 was?
Yeah. So
I love the Philippines.
So when
yeah, he finds all sorts of ladyboys there.
That's my cousin, all right?
Okay.
Okay. So when the U.S. when the U.S. was fighting the Philippines before they occupied, they had the 38 Special sidearms, and we would eat. I can't remember the name of it, but there's this nut, and you eat it, kind of like the Vikings would. They would
Semen.
eat the semen nut, but it's just like a drug, and they would plug a Filipino warrior like with 6 rounds of that 38 Special and then get hacked up with a bolo. So
tiny round.
So basically, they were like, "Hey, we need a stronger gun," and then 1911 was created, and then they started murking Philos.
I like Duterte. Is it Duterte is the prime minister?
Oh, Duterte.
Duterte, yeah, he's like, if you see a drug dealer,
Joe Duterte.
Joe Duterte.
It's just like, oh, you see someone doing drugs, just shoot him. Just make sure you have proof, and you're fine.
I have an uncle in the Philippines that we no one heard from for 5 years, and we just assumed that he'd been killed because he was on drugs.
Doing drugs or something.
Yeah,
there you go.
All of a sudden he shows up. He's like alive, and we're like, oh, so you got clean?
In Canada, we're babysitting everybody and giving them drugs, and like nurses are like helping them inject. It's like, okay,
what a great system.
What a great society we're building. What an amazing society.
Yeah, universal health care.
Our healthcare, okay, I want to say this
here we go.
Right now, it's fucking horrendous. I've been without a family doctor for fucking 12 years now. I've been looking for a family doctor, and there are no family doctors. You have to go to a clinic, and maybe a doctor in a clinic will take you on, but there are no doctors just like looking for clients, like nowhere.
So how does that differ from the for-profit healthcare system where it's the exact same thing?
Well, I can find a doctor right now if I want a doctor.
Here's the thing.
I'm like 3 months out for anything I want.
If you work hard and you have insurance and you have enough money to get insurance, you're fine. In countries like Canada or any socialist nation, yes, the poor do well, much better than they would, but hardworking, middle of the road people don't do as well. It's a system set up for people that are the lower part of the social. That don't are. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be a dick or sound like an asshole,
right?
But like, basically, I work my ass off, and I can't get a family doctor, and I can't get.
Yeah.
My dad had my stepfather just recently passed of cancer, and it was melanoma in his lungs. He went to see oncologist. They were like, "Well, we got a treatment for you." Yada yada yada. He had an old partner from his law firm. His daughter was an oncologist. She got him in for experimental treatment. And the original oncologist was pissed off that he got this treatment. That literally would have completely extended his life for 5 years. But like he kind of went around him, and everyone's also like, I got a friend. She had breast cancer. She had a double mastectomy. She's got another thing. She got sampled that was off. She had to wait a full year to go in and get another sample. She went in. They sent her home because there were too many people in the office waiting. And she's crying. She called me crying. She's like, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, see if you can find a place in Washington State that you can pay. You can go down there and get it sampled because like, you literally wait forever for treatment here. But they're killing people back east. Like it's really easy to get assisted suicide. So at least that's good, I guess.
Oh,
that's the way to go.
Well, that's
good. Joe loves assisted suicide.
Can't treat my cancer, but you know what? I'm gonna treat my life.
It's brutal. And you know what's funny is that the dental system here is the same as the United States. We don't have like universal dental. And the dental system here is amazing. I got a dentist around the corner. I go there. He's like, boom. He like works on. I've got insurance, and boom, I get everything done. And but like healthcare is a joke in Canada. And people that say, oh well, look at Canada, dude, it is so bad. It's so bad. I'm scared to get sick here. I'm terrified to get sick.
So can you get? I don't know anything about how the systems work and all that, but could you, as a Canadian citizen, could you get American health insurance?
Insurance?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know you can pay privately, and maybe there's a carrier that would offer you that. I know my stepfather went down and paid for some surgery and optional stuff. And I know that we're trickling private clinics into our system because I think we're realizing now that like people graduate from school as doctors here and they go to the States to work because we put caps on our doctors. where they're only allowed to have patients for so many hours, and they can't bill over that, and like so many restrictions and like limitations that they can't make any money here. So nobody wants it. So what the new guy is trying to do is he's trying to allow people that have like doctor's degrees from India and stuff like that to come in here with a quick test and instantly become doctors. But right now it's very hard for them, which seems like a solution. You know, like I've got a friend who's his wife was a dentist from Romania, and it took her like 3 years to get certified here, even though she'd been a practicing dentist in Romania for, you know, like 4 or 5 years. So yeah, I mean, if they could speed that up, that would help. Then we can.
Yeah. Well, it's a well-known fact that Romanian teeth are different than Canadian teeth.
Well, we know British teeth are definitely much not as good as everyone else's. Yeah, for sure.
That is not very good.
It's all the beans and toast they're having for breakfast.
Beans and toast.
Right, so going up bed knobs and broomsticks and all that.
Leave it out.
Oh, you tosser.
That's one thing that the people from the U.S. and Canada can both do is make fun of the Brits.
Because fuck them. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the only thing that's different about Canada and the U.S. is that we're literally like a state of America, but we have a little bit of British influence. Like I'm from Victoria, where we have which is on the island. So I'm in Vancouver, but Vancouver Island, Victoria is actually the capital of British Columbia, and there's like the Empress has like a suite that's for the Queen. I guess she's dead now.
Yeah, she did.
She's not booking that room anytime soon.
Getting redecorated currently.
Should the royals come to visit, there's a suite that's always there for them, and there's like what was the Queen's private rose garden. I don't know if it's the King's private rose garden anymore, but yeah.
It's not basketball court.
So I mean,
for Obama,
I guess we were the Commonwealth, and I guess the Commonwealth would be like you'd say like Australia, Canada, like India had a lot of influence before the British left. Other countries I'm sure, but yeah, we had the Commonwealth Games, which was kind of like the Olympics for the Commonwealth nations. It's all watered down and died out. It's the Queen gave everyone their countries back and stuff.
Yeah, so
it's really nice of her.
It was nice. Nice. I mean, but hey, like seriously, okay, my girlfriend's from Hong Kong, and the Brits left, and they're fucking upset. Like the Brits gave everybody stuff, like indoor plumbing in India, like yes, okay, you see all the movies like, oh my god, the Brits with the red coats shooting all these villagers, and like, but they also gave the Indians indoor plumbing, which brought disease down, and like.
Oh, you said Indians, and I was like, wait, we just got casinos from ours. I don't know.
No, I mean they're very good Indians.
Dot, not feather.
Dot, not feather.
But,
yeah.
But in Hong Kong, they absolutely love the monarchs. They were very British. And now the Chinese have come in and they're all in despair and they're hating life. So we can't say that what the monarchy did in colonization was bad for everybody, because it's actually
you can't lump it all into one ball. Yeah,
for a lot of countries. Yeah,
that's fair.
I mean, the Magna Carta is what you guys' constitution is based off of. We still have like little tiny bits of the Magna Carta, although Trudeau's taking everything. He's literally making us have the Chinese fucking. Oh my god. Fucked.
We get a lot of stuff from China too.
Yeah, the Bidens are. Well, no, I mean, you guys are getting influenced.
I'm giving you shit. I'm just.
I was saying I want to talk about the Confucius Institutes and the all the Chinese influence, like how they influence everything. They get in and they buy off everybody, and they're pushing agendas everywhere. And this whole one of the major things that I'm always going off about is this push for battery technology. Like okay. Yeah. We can all agree, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, that human beings cause pollution. Okay, like whether we think we're turning the earth into a ball of fire or not. If you look at like Niels Bohr is the guy I kind of like listen to a lot. He believes in like what economic impacts, like how many people are going to die overall from pollution or from technologies or from whatever. Like what is the best impact for humanity? No matter what camp you're in, we all know pollution's bad. We all know that like any energy tech that's clean is going to be great. But like we have hydrogen engines that all of a sudden people stop worrying about, like like the hydrogen engine, which is the hydrogen engine? The hydrogen engine. It's clean.
Every time someone comes up with a hydrogen engine, they just
disappear. It's weird.
Yeah.
they commit suicide.
So that's tech. That's a tech where we wouldn't need. We could just put hydrogen in the gas, or like carbon capture. We could carbon capture. We'd be at zero. If we could get carbon capture technology perfect, we would just keep the same infrastructure. We'd just be putting captured carbon gas into gas stations, and we continue going along zero emissions. But this whole like battery is being pushed, and China has been buying off people in the UN. At the Paris Climate Accords, they paid off a bunch of people because they got a sweet deal where America had to start dismantling its cheap energy, and China could continue to build 30 coal plants until 2030. How is that even a deal?
Right.
Like the Paris Climate Accords are crippling on the West, and they're nothing but beneficial to China. Now you take that aside, they have no oil or uranium or any of the stuff that normally a superpower needs in order to project itself on. It needs to get all of its energy from other places. So what it's done is it's gone out and it's put its talents into every lithium mine on the planet. Like they bought like 2 of our biggest lithium mines in Canada. I know in Australia they've gone in and bought a whole bunch of lithium mines. Afghanistan, they went in right away and tried to make deals with Taliban for lithium mines in North Afghanistan. So, and they're the ones pushing this, like, it's got to be batteries, it's got to be batteries, it's got to be batteries, it's got to be lithium. And like everyone's like walking like in a haze, like, yeah, solar and wind. Like,
we were even talking with your dad about that. He was talking about the electric car the other night.
Yeah, Tesla. He wants to buy a Tesla.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but like the bottom line is like we're all kind of asleep at the wheel, and we're allowing China to take over the world. Like they're pumping fentanyl into North America. Like I've lost people I used to bartend with that were guys that used to do blow, and they've OD'd on it. And normal guys, like not to mention all the junkies I see dead in East Hastings, and I'm sure San Francisco. And they're destroying America. There was a book written.
They've ruined our cocaine, is what you're saying.
Yes, because that's how I feel that right
that's
here.
That's how I feel about
right
it.
here. I feel it.
But they're winning. They're winning, and they're like as Trump would say, they're winning. China.
They're winning.
China's winning.
China.
They're winning huge winning. But they're winning this thing, and we're all asleep at the wheel. Like everyone's asleep at the wheel. And Canada we just had a thing where they had paid for the Liberals all of their during the election, all of their what do you call it? Their election promotion stuff.
Oh, fundraising
campaign.
Stuff. Bunch of fundraising. China for the Liberals, and no one's doing anything about it. It's like, oh yeah, CSIS found it. CSIS is our intelligence. CSIS discovered China paid for a bunch of, and then like Trudeau just like, we're gonna take away everyone's guns. Don't look over here. We're taking away everyone's guns. Like it's like in your country, like what was it? It was like Biden the other day, and it's like, oh, a submarine exploded.
Well, I was gonna say we had the submarine.
Yeah, we said this.
And Trump had a recording that we knew about like 4 months ago, but we're gonna talk about it again. Like we're not gonna talk about any of the stuff that's gonna be bad. We're just gonna like confuse you with this. Yeah, it's crazy. World's crazy.
They're very good at magic tricks.
I'm 50. Thank God I'll be dead soon enough that I won't have to see it. Bunch of transgender baristas. That's all that's gonna be left.
Man,
you're communist baristas.
Do you guys have Dutch Bros up there? Because we do. It's like this coffee company that was started down here in Oregon, and it used to be full of all hot chicks. And I went there the other day, and it's these dudes wearing short shorts, and I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. Where are the hot chicks?
Do you guys sell Hooters?
Well,
a few places.
Jake, you guys have Hooters in Seattle?
Not anymore.
No,
we had a Hooters.
There's one in Portland, I think.
No,
if it's still there. Oh, it's gone. What is this country coming to?
Well, we have no strip bars. We have one strip bar in the Lower Mainland. Like we used to have like 8. What's the guy supposed to do? Yeah, you guys are only top.
OnlyFans.
We get the whole.
What? We have everything. What are you talking about?
No, Oregon is you're talking about Washington. Washington has ass strip bars. They're terrible.
Oh yeah, they're terrible.
But there's
come on down to Oregon. We'll take you to a crop fest.
Oregon.
It's great.
Oregon has good strip clubs.
Oh my God. Or
because there's nothing like watching a girl in gyno. We call it gyno row, like right around the stage, and eating chicken wings while you're watching a girl who literally is showing you her chicken wings.
Oh man,
you don't eat at the counter.
I mean, sometimes you do. When I was a sub in Salem, there was one time I went to lunch at the Silver Dollar, or not Silver Dollar. What's the one? The
Stars.
Stars. Yes, I went to Stars and got the chicken strip lunch, and I'm just sitting there eating my chicken strips, watching a stripper in front of me, and I'm like, I got to go back and teach PE after this. This is some bullshit.
If I owned a strip club, I'd sell like clam bake.
Chicken strippers.
Jake, you look unimpressed. Or what are we doing? Are we
oh my god.
Are we hijacking this and taking it in a
Jake,
bad direction?
What did you have to talk about this week? I feel like we had some things.
Taking this in a bad direction. I'm sorry.
Did you watch Secret Invasion?
I did. I watched 90% of Secret Invasion, and I greened out towards the last bit of it, so I got to finish it.
Oh shit!
But
I still haven't watched it because I don't have Plus.
Well, you're good. You
sign into mine.
Yeah. I mean, what are you doing?
The password's always the same. Well, it's the same as my ESPN.
It's one of like 3 passwords.
Yeah, it's easy.
Same with my password. It's like one of 3 things.
Yeah.
But no, I did watch. I watched most of that. I watched Venom and Let There Be Carnage.
Okay.
So
did Riv, which is weird.
That is weird.
Riv was like, I want to watch Venom, and I was like, okay. So I gave her my Vudu login, and she watched both of them. She was like, those are good movies.
I went through the exact same process, and then I was folding laundry, and I was like, what now do I want? And it was The Hangover. And so naturally, if anybody in your house has watched The Hangover, then we're definitely cosmically connected.
That's fine.
But yeah, so I hadn't watched them mostly because, I didn't. They came out, they came and passed, and I just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Wanted to see them, but I think it was in that series of time where movies were hitting the theaters and leaving really quickly.
We're still in there.
Yeah, it seems like movies come and go. Like they're quicker to stream and to digital download and whatnot faster than ever.
I've noticed that Disney is kind of trying to slow theirs down because, like, I watched Shazam came out in the theater, and then 4 weeks later it was on HBO Max. And then the latest one was Ant-Man, Quantumania.
Avatar was pretty quick turnaround.
Kind of, but not nearly as fast as those others. Yeah. Like I felt like it took like 2 months.
I was gonna say, you know what wasn't? It was Top Gun, because it was a well-done movie.
That movie stayed in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that movie
may still be there.
Power. Yeah, you know what? It's
still
like
there.
I remember I saw Gladiator in the theater, and I saw it 20-some times. It was in the theater for like 10 months, 11 months.
I buy it. Yeah, it's like Titanic.
I mean, it was just a fucking fantastic movie, and I could see the
Gladiator was my deployment movie.
I was gonna say, Dave's got some things to say.
Oh yeah, it got to the point where I would put 10mm round shoots onto my shoulders and walk around the ship and be like, "Are you not entertained?" Just the whole time, just front kicking people and hitting them with my cardboard sword. You get real bored out to sea.
Cardboard sword.
Oh yeah, like I made a helmet.
Imagine like China watching on their spy satellite, like what the fuck are these guys doing on the ship? They've got swords now.
They're so unworried about battle. They fight each other with cardboard swords.
Well, so we were running a drill one time, and we were getting inspected, and I was the main armorer for the day.
Grease on just half his face and shit.
That's getting there, actually. The third fleet inspectors come down, some high-ranking officers, and I'm in there, and I've got plate carrier on, my gladiator cardboard helmet, a sword tucked into my belt, like 2 pistols on each side. I got grenades hanging from my vest.
Fucking Rambo over here.
And my face is just actually I did white paint and then did this Hand of Sauron thing on my face. So when I took my helmet off, and they're like, GM2, what are you doing? I'm like, protecting and serving.
Sir.
Sir. Oh my God. I don't know why that reminded me. I drove by a yard sale after Riv's softball game the other day, and there's just a fucking armor plate vest hanging on one. I'm like, is that a 3-plate? I might use that.
Right.
Those things have expiration dates. I don't just go pick those things up. They're like, yeah, bulletproof vest only been used once.
It's only got to work.
So what is that? So I know the Kevlar eventually gives out. I've got a couple of steel plates, and they've got an anti-spalling. Is it the spalling that? Is it the spall? Is it the stuff that goes on the outside that keeps it from chipping up in your face that expires? So
no, it's the so usually,
the integrity of the steel.
Usually with steel, the integrity of the steel lasts longer. It just happens that it's cheap. It's cheaper, lasts longer, but it's also a lot heavier. The expiration date really is a big ceramics thing. If you spend the money to get high dollar ceramic plates, those usually have like a 10 to 15, I think, year. If you don't get shot in them, but also ceramic, once you get shot in it, like you need to throw a new plate in. Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will run those, the steel plate, because they're like, well, how many times am I gonna like they think they need them?
Yeah.
But I have a bulletproof vest, but only because I got it from one of my old jobs. I've got a lot of gear that's mostly work related stuff that I had before. But also if it's like, and a lot of these people are, doomsday prepper types. Right. If it's doomsday prepper and I need to move, I'm not going to be worrying about my plate carrier. Like I'm throwing on a bag and I'm moving. I'm trying to get away from there. I'm not here to fight.
When I was still working at the boat place, there was that one dork that was working with me for a while, the one that I actually liked. And he was always talking about his like, oh, I'm going to go get a 223 and I'm going to go get this. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go do this. And like every time he would ask me about it, I'm like, well, do you think that 223 would work after you drop it? He's like, why? I said, because I'm deadly from 25 feet with the Glock 17. And
right.
If you drop it, I want to make sure it's still going to work. And I need it.
There's something about the velocity of a rifle though. Like a 223 is like, I mean, I've owned all sorts of rifles and handgun. I got a Glock, and the thing is, the velocity of that 223 round, like how much fucking power is mine? It's a small projectile, but fuck, man. No. I mean, a 308, yeah. I mean, it's heavy and it puts things down and all that. But I think an AK, like I think it's 7.62 by 3.
I shot the leg off of a deer from 200 yards with a 308 last year.
No, 308's a great round.
Leg off.
I'm just saying, I don't think people give that 223 enough or 5.56 enough credit for the velocity of that fucking round. It is
I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Because like firing an AK is like, or in Canada we got SKSs, is like throwing a softball. Like,
we have
just
those.
feel a fucking bullet falling down as it goes. Like by 100 meters, it's fucking dropped 5 feet. It's like it's not even really a bullet. Like
well, it's such a heavy bullet that's not
and it doesn't have enough. Yeah, not enough
powder in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I used to work at
story. Timeout. Brie Larson is hot. Anyway, back in.
All right. I love the concept of these doomsday preppers. It's like, sure, 1 out of every 20 of you is probably going to survive, but the most of you are going to die without diabetes medication.
Yeah,
there's that.
Right. Well, and that's a big thing too. Like in the vet community here in the U.S. Right. There's a lot of dudes that are out here talking about what they're gonna do and how they're prepped and stuff like that, but they're sitting over here. They're sitting over there with fucking BMIs through the roof. They're spilling out of their little plate carriers that they bought. Their guts are hanging out.
They got to hold it like this because they can't get their arms down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I used to always hold my hands.
That's because that's what
you do. That's what you all do.
It's what you do with your hands because you don't want to. You can't put them in your pockets because you never know. But
when I played football, I would stand there with my hands on my shoulder pads.
I did that with my hoodie when I worked at the
yeah.
But there's a lot of people in this country that they think they're gonna do something.
Yeah.
Right. Like even like okay.
Even
I'm not I'm not super special. I'm not anything cool. I've got some wilderness experience. I've got a good amount of trauma medicine experience. I've got some combat training and stuff like that.
I got some BDSM experience. I can tie a couple knots.
Yeah, I'll put the gag ball in my mouth. I'm good. But like realistically, if the world really went to shit, we're like,
what are we talking about by the world going to shit too? Is it like
right?
Asteroid
Like,
hitting?
Like, do we just not have Wi-Fi?
I'm talking about absolute economic downfall.
China invades the fuck.
But the Great Depression was kind of almost that.
We're already living through the economic times worse than the Great Depression as it is right now, and we're just smiling and acting like it's okay.
We're making a podcast over Skype.
Yeah,
literally 450,000 fucking guys who were in militias believe your election was stolen, and nobody did anything except some tourists in Washington. It's not like it doesn't like no one's got the motivation anymore. It's not like Ukraine, where Russia is now fucking driving over my mother and going towards my cousin's house. It's just like everyone's so complacent now that like outside of what like really like let's say the depression happens again. Let's say everyone loses everything. Everyone's houses fucking disappear.
It's happening.
Yes, but like depression style, 1932, but even a little bit worse. Let's say the banks collapse. Like 80% of people lose their houses.
Banks collapsed in like 2002.
Yeah, okay, but like you know what I mean, like
but there's no bailout.
Like,
right.
Yeah,
that
people are all everyone's a hobo. Everyone's on a fucking train with a little hobo pack. There's nothing. I mean, people just aren't motivated enough to get together to do anything here in North America. Anyways, I think the Chinese could roll through Canada. To be honest, it'd be fucking horrific. But their armies could land on our shores and probably take out our military in 2 seconds and roll.
I think I'd be good because I played a lot of Fallout back in the day.
I play a lot of Fallout now.
Yeah, actually, I just started it again.
I know exactly what to do with those scrap electronics. I know where to take them.
It's a guy named Gil. He's in Diamond City.
There you go.
Gil,
you're playing
Gil
4.
owns Mini Mart.
Oh yeah. Does Gil?
Vegas.
Yeah.
Gil owns the cigarette store and the South County Market. That's Gil. Set. Yeah, he's ready.
That's what I want to do. Like, I want to retire and I want to have like just some stupid little business that like in a little town that makes ungodly amounts of money because it's a niche business. Like everyone goes there because it's the only place in town to reliably get cigarettes.
Mm-hmm. He does do well because he deals in only cash. Well, he used to only deal in cash. And that's probably true too. But he was only cash, and like, I mean, the trucks he drives seem like they're pretty nice. His motorcycle.
I feel like Gil's the kind of guy that carries a gold-plated Desert Eagle like stuffed into the back of his pants.
Oh yeah,
my day, Julie.
I've seen it.
I was that your friend Robin that was a police officer?
That's Brian. Brian.
Yep.
Brian.
Because Brian was talking about he just wants to get out and just work at a whiskey distillery.
I believe
that's
that.
what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like he was like, no, I don't even want to be a police anymore. He's like, I just want to work at a whiskey distillery, nice simple job in a place where I love the product and I just want to talk to people and like be happy.
If Brian starts working at a whiskey distillery, I feel like he's gonna have a curly mustache and a bowler cap. Like that'll be something that he wears.
I feel like if Brian worked at a whiskey distillery, I could actually have a conversation with him.
I mean, like probably. It's gonna take him a while to get out of it though. Like he's still in that mindset, and it took him a while to get to it. Like before he was a cop, he was, I don't know. It's just weird to see how he's progressed to who he is, and it's interesting. Just the whole.
I just come to appreciate the taste of boot.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So there you go. So what are you prepping for, and what are you gonna do if it really happens? It's kind of half the fucking battle, right? Because you're prepping for, for me, it's like I've prepped enough that if the Chinese army rolled in, I would take a few of them out.
See, I think that's where most of us are. Is like if somebody shows up here, we're probably gonna drop a few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked on a pod before. We talked about location and stuff like that, and we were talking about my house.
Yeah.
Right? How it's in the valley. We could post up on the mountain. We got an entire ridge, only 2 ways in and out.
Yeah.
We got fresh water. We got a river nearby and stuff like that. Like, so we've talked about that. And like, I've got there's plenty of like there's farming land right out my window.
Yeah, there's plenty. There's options.
Yeah.
Well, Dave and I, we live in. There's not a city near us. You know, like I think that's probably.
Towns.
Yeah, we have towns.
3,000 people maybe.
Big difference. So I think that's gonna help, but.
And you'd have to roll into every one of those towns and subjugate all those people every single time.
Yeah, and there's just too many, like literally
tons of rednecks with guns.
More
guns and baseball bats.
You can look at what the Russians are doing, right? They just take choke points. That's what the idea is. The Chinese would come in and just take choke points. You get no more food into your village, you know.
Yeah.
Because
we have food everywhere.
Welcome to the United States in 2023. Choke points. Thank you, Daddy.
we didn't create the interstate system for no reason.
Right.
Yeah. It would be.
It was the Japanese general that said, I don't want to touch soil in America because there'd be a rifle behind every blade of grass.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the thing that they have to consider is that let's say you would absolutely have to take a cultural city like Los Angeles to make a statement. Like you have to take the preeminent cultural capital of North America. So you go into Los Angeles. That's great. Well, now you have to fight the Bloods and the Crips and the Latin Kings.
They're all dead because the Mexicans killed them all.
Yeah,
There's no more black gangsters. The Mexicans killed them all.
Well, so yeah, the Chinese
Mexican gangsters now.
The Chinese would have to hire the Mexican cartel. That's the only way they're gonna get anywhere.
They sell them fentanyl, so they're friends already.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
No, but I think the Bloods and the Crips. I always wondered what happened from the '90s, like when rap was big. I'm like, what happened to Bloods and Crips? The fucking Mexicans.
They're still there. They're just
still
not
around. I live in a
no.
blue neighborhood. I assure you, the Bloods and Crips really exist still.
Yeah.
I live in a Crip neighborhood.
I worked in a prison in Washington. They exist.
Mm-hmm.
Are they? They're not like they were in the early '90s, though, right?
They're bigger.
They're not shouting it is the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Is there? Oh. You just don't hear about them because they
it's
like their low
real
profile.
things move in silence like lasagna.
It's like motorcycle clubs back in the day.
Yeah,
they're bigger,
right?
You know what's funny about Vancouver is that our Bloods and Crips are Indians. Like we've got a place called Surrey, which is right over the water here.
Yeah.
And we've got a massive Indian population. They're the ones shooting everybody. Like they're the gangsters, they're the drug dealers, they're the whatever. We've got 5
the native Indians or the India Indians?
No, they're very special Indians.
Okay, gotcha.
No special deals on bows and arrows.
Yeah. There are gangsters, really. Like that's
interesting.
We had a gang here called the UN, which was like a gang that took in all people.
They wore blue helmets.
Yeah. There was a war here in Vancouver. I want to say when I moved over here in like 2011.
It was 2001. It was after Vancouver lost the Stanley Cup.
So in 2010, 11, there were like hundreds of people being shot in the Lower Mainland. There was a full-on gang war going on between a gang called the UN Bacon Brothers, which were like and these Indian brothers that had a gang.
Canadian
here.
Bacon Brothers.
No, it's called the Bacon Brothers. I shit you not.
That's awesome.
And the Johals, and the Johals are Indian family, and they're like, I guess, yeah. I don't know. But we still have it here in Vancouver and Toronto. We have massive amounts of fucking shit.
You know what gangbangers I wouldn't want to mess with anybody.
Riley Reid.
The ones, yeah, Riley Reid. The Islander ones.
Because they're island boys.
Samoan guys?
Tongans and the Samoans, dude.
Oh my god.
Those guys, I've seen those guys. I've seen those guys get down in some prison fights.
Oh yeah, like the Russians and the.
Oh, I'm scared by the Chechens.
The Chechens, yeah. We have some of those in Portland area.
Those guys don't give a fuck for human life at all.
The first time I met a Russian dude, I worked for this company, and I worked for this company. They would contract us for security. I would go to different locations and then basically write the post orders for whatever officer was working there.
Yep.
And I'm walking through the store, kind of checking things out, and this guy comes up to me, and I was not expecting. He's like, "There's your vodka," and I started laughing. I was like, "No." no way the first time I meet a Russian dude, he asked me where the vodka's at.
Yeah.
And I'm just,
you weren't ready.
Physically start laughing.
Right.
And he's like, what is funny? I was like, nothing, dude.
Oh, shit.
We're good. Like, I'll take you right to the vodka. I'll even open it up for you. I don't give a shit.
I'm Ukrainian, and I can tell you, man, they're fucking hard people. Russians and Ukrainians,
but the women,
all those people. I mean, yeah, but they're
at least the one you see on Instagram,
not the gypsy.
See, here's the thing. I think I hate to say this, but like I think white women fall apart way too early. I think I'm into Asian girls now because like you can meet a 60-year-old Asian chick and she still looks like 40.
But you got also a 40-year-old that's absolutely busted.
Ukrainian women can look pretty damn hot, but I don't know a hot 60-year-old Ukrainian woman. I just don't. I just don't. I think Asians, and black women, they don't age. Asians don't age.
Black don't crack.
It's right.
It's the amount of what's the stuff in your skin? Collagen.
Melanin.
How your collagen kind of
makes
us get older. Asians and black women, they don't lose it all. And Ukrainians and Eastern Europeans is just like falls off their face at like 45, 50.
Yeah, well, Brie Larson would get it.
See, being a Filipino guy, right?
Are you Filipino?
Yeah. I'm Filipino.
Who?
Robin knows this. Asian chicks. I've never really been into Asian chicks because older Asian chicks remind me of my mom. Younger Asian chicks remind me of my sister. So I've had a couple relations with Asian chicks, and I just get they cook.
Oh man.
But yeah, I just and then growing up here in Southern Oregon, like I walked into the school and I'm the colored kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so like white chicks.
I mean, to each their own, man. I mean, I definitely dated a few white chicks, but like I just as I've gotten older, I've kind of like the looking around the dating pool. It's just been like whites are dropping, and it's like all these Asian girls are still looking. I mean, black. There's only 4 black women in Canada.
I've been talking to some Portuguese chick.
Wait, what?
I've been talking to some Portuguese. Yeah, she's Portuguese.
Latinos can hold
and I told her, I was like, hey, we got something in common. Spain occupied both of our countries, so we're good, right?
And you're like, can I occupy your lap?
Yeah, I'm deep insurgency.
Greek, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish girls, like those darker women, they definitely hold their collagen better. For sure.
I just like chicks.
Yeah, right.
Chicks are good, man.
That's my favorite.
I really like them when they don't have their dicks still attached, though.
Yeah, chicks do not have dicks.
Just do the tits.
Yep.
Why are there so many lady boys in Thailand?
Ooh,
this is something of
Dave?
Dave's gonna find the line.
Dave? Finding the line.
Is it?
I don't have an answer for you. I think it's cheaper to get the surgeries, the top surgery.
Do you think? And I don't mean to be a dick because you're a masculine Asian guy, but do you think Asian men in general are more feminine?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely.
And so they were like the very first of the like.
Not see Mr. Chow.
Yeah.
Do you think because they're more effeminate or they're more feminine, the men, that they easily transition a lot more than every other culture?
It would make sense.
Yeah, it would make sense to me because I absolutely like.
I don't have the answer because I'm not in that category, but that would make sense.
Yeah. So I've been to a lot of Asian countries, and normally like your average dude, right? Because I worked with a lot of different military guys from all over Asia, right? And then those are you get your alphas, your strong dudes, your very masculine type guys, right? But your average guy in those Asian countries are a little bit more effeminate.
Yeah. See, the women are too. The women are more feminine than white women. So that's the thing about that whole culture is feminine. Like the women are so Saddle boot. Saddle boot,
these people, they could have been anywhere in the world. They're here with us. We appreciate that. Want to thank Aragon the artist for joining us. Make sure you want to see his shit. Check it on Netflix, Extraction 2.
All over the place.
It's all over the damn place. He was in the whole. Hit us again with that discography.
Well, you can just IMDb. I've got some stuff on IMDb.
Oh,
this guy's got an IMDb.
This guy's got an IMDb. Aragon Pawson.
That I haven't updated in like 4 years. So
it still exists.
Are we done? Is that it? Is that the hour?
That's it.
That's about
1 hour. Dude.
We're wrapping it up.
Yeah, wrap it up.
What about the guys that the Hunt Club guys? We got an extra hour.
Yeah, that's
that's just game.
I've got a post show that I do myself that is just for the ladies.
So you can find it on his OnlyFans.
It's on my OnlyFans. OnlyFans.com/crashlandis.
All right.
Or Patreon.
10 likes and I'll post
or backfats.info.
No.
Okay, well we'll have to do this again. And I'm actually like, if you can tell, I got a DLSR with a special lens. I was gonna actually play with projects.
Well,
I just got around. I'm lazy.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking lazy and tired. And anyways, I'm building my hi-fi system now, Rob. That's what I'm spending all my time doing. But yeah, eventually. And I will definitely come on again. Thank you, Jake, for asking.
Yeah, that was fun. It was fun. Talk to y'all later.
Yeah.
All right.
Easy.
Good X.
Good X.
Make sure to go and check out definitelynotsellingdrugs.com.